Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here. In today's video, we are going to recap Charlotte Collecticon. We are going to talk about the business, the very little bit of business that happened at the convention floor, and then we are going to talk about the extracurriculars. I always have a great time, and a lot of the extracurriculars involve business too. I may or may not tease, maybe I'll fully spoil who the next live streamer is for the Catch 'em All Collectibles operation. So with that, we are going to hop right into the old school Google Slides presentation. So the grouping, 2025 Charlotte Collecticon recap. The grouping has many meanings. There were great groupings of people at Rusty's, at Wonders, out and about at the public house. I'll talk about all those. If you watch PK's live stream though, this is a still taken from PK's live stream. The quote of the night from, I believe it was Friday night. We'll get into what Thursday night actually it must have been, because PK was live. I'm very bad at darts for how tall I am. I'm barely touching the board. I'm basically touching the board, but I could always get a tight grouping on the dartboard, but I was always just outside of the number I was going for. If I was going for 20, I'd hit the 18s, I'd hit the ones, I'd hit very, very close, but never, seemingly never where I was trying to hit. But let me go into the presentation. Outline, there's going to be a fair bit. It might be a lengthy one. Buckle in. So up front, we will do the mullet style presentation. We will do the business in the front, party in the back. So outline, show purchases up front. Thursday, quick overview by day. I picked up PONGA at the airport. We went to the public house, a bar right near the convention center, right near the hotel. Friday, Rusty's, public house. A full list of names of people that showed up to the public house. Shame on you if you didn't show your face at the public house. No, a lot of people broke off into a lot of different groups, a lot of great stuff going on all weekend. We stayed up till 5:30 in the morning on Friday, which was wild. I no regrets, great time. I'll recap what was going on till 5:30 a.m. with some photos as I always do. Saturday, convention, lunch, Wonders, Airbnb, hotel lobby. Sunday, diner, airport, and then home. So yeah, I'm gonna get right into it. Show purchases. That's what I bought. 0. So quick, I guess I don't need to show the slide. Do you want to see me full screen, or should I just leave this? I don't think it makes a big difference. But let me talk about the show a little bit. I stayed up till 5:30 the night before. I did not go in. I did not have VIP. I did not have a vendor badge. I didn't want to wait in a line. Generally speaking, if you watch my recap from Cleveland, if you watch my recap from New Jersey, I usually go with my family on Sunday. So my typical Collecticon strategy is to help build my kids' binders. We're rating $1, $3, $5 binders. With this show, it was just me. I didn't have my family there. And generally, we go for Sunday. Saturday's usually the busier day. Sunday's usually the slower day. And generally speaking, to add some convention tips in here, if you're like trying to get the best deals, you want to be first or you want to be last. You want to be in with the vendors on Saturday, or potentially even Friday when people are setting up. I've seen people close deals. I've closed deals on Friday when people are setting up before anyone else has a chance. If something is highly mispriced, if something is like a steal of a deal, it is going to be gone early Saturday. People will comb through. People will get like the best of the best early. If it's like priced too low, or if it's priced just right, I guess. But other than that, Sunday, very, very late Sunday is a good time to go because vendors might not want to fly home, drive home with their stuff. Maybe their sales goal was 10K and they're only at 8K and they're looking for that last couple grand in sales. So maybe they'll go lower to try to get the sales done. So generally speaking, I think the best deals are had early Saturday and late Sunday. But I stayed up till 5:30 in the morning, Friday night, Saturday morning, and I turned up to the show at like noon after a 4.5 hour power nap maybe. I turned up to the show, and my goal, I went with one goal. My goal was to buy sealed, primarily heavy vintage stuff for the streams. And the issue with that is like, Catch 'em All Collectibles, I sell heavy packs with a hollow guarantee. Most places sell heavy packs. If you ask them, hey, those $1,400 heavy Fossil First Edition booster packs. Yes, somebody had 14, and it's funny because somebody towards the front had $1,400 heavy Fossil First Edition booster packs. And then shout out to Royalty Gaming. I talked to him and he went and he asked the guy later in the day, apparently maybe my look, maybe other people's looks at the 1,400. he started asking for 1,200. I imagine those never sold. I imagine those never left the case. If you buy a box of Fossil First Edition, you could get the 12 heavies out of it. You could throw the light packs in the trash and you could have them for basically 1,200 bucks a pack, buying a whole box. So it's like, that was the theme of the day. Honestly, I was looking for like maybe Shining Legends packs. I was looking for like Evolutions packs. Everything was just priced so high, at least everything that I looked at. Shout out to PK. He talked about it in his live stream. I will link PK's live stream. Well, I'll link the one where we were playing darts from the public house Thursday night of the convention, where he kept his streak going with a 20-minute live stream, handing around to a bunch of DJs at the bar at the public house. And then I will also link PK's Thursday live from, like, I'm recording this on Friday the 15th, last night basically, 4 or 5 nights ago by the time you watch this on Monday. But anyways, PK mentioned that he was out on the prowl for some vintage packs too. He actually got 2 Legendary Collection packs. I guess I won't spoil the whole mix, but 2 of them that he got, which were great packs, because Legendary Collection, even if it's a dud, even if it's a light pack, no holo, the big money is in the reverse holo slot, actually, which every pack has in Legendary Collection. So shout out to PK for the great idea on that. Yeah, he'll tell you what he pulled. He'll tell you what other packs he got. Go check out his live stream. But he sold those very quickly. He sold those very quickly on Monday, first thing in his morning live stream. So great job for him. Bad job for me. This is my entire list of all my purchases. I had some cash. I was trying to spend some money. I had some cash. I had Wire, ACH, Venmo, PayPal. I had everything at the ready, and just nothing happened. Like, one thing that really was my holdup was that, like, I saw some base set 2 heavy packs that were like close-ish. They were reasonable. I think they were 500 bucks a piece. I probably could have sold those on the live stream for margin, but they were not. I know base set 2 is finicky to weigh. I know it's tough to weigh, and they were not catch 'em all collectibles guarantees. They were heavy packs. So yeah, what went through my mind very quickly was like, am I really going to spend 5-10 grand on these heavy packs, send them to PK, send them to Ponga, and then find out that they're lights, and then have to go from buying a heavy, which is likely hollow, to selling it ripped live, and then we pull a non-hollow, and I got to refund 500 bucks. I got to refund 1,000 bucks. It's like, that doesn't sound like a good time. I do a pretty good job sourcing from the comfort of my own home. So very quickly, I think I spent 2.5, 3 hours on the floor, like, trying to source. I didn't go in depth in every single table, but I scanned through very quickly, relatively efficiently, just looking for vintage sealed. A lot of tables didn't have any at all, but the few that did, I kind of looked into them. I kind of kicked the tires on if the seller was going to be reasonable about them. Some weren't priced. You gotta ask them, and then you hear the crazy, outrageous numbers. But it is what it is. I tried my best. PK did a good job. I did not do a good job, but I shot my shot, and I'm just gonna buy a lot of stuff online from my normal sources that I buy from. Normal, trusted. I've spent 6 figures with them. I don't gotta, like, worry about trying to, shout out to Rattle. Rattle was there, hung out with him a little bit, but I don't gotta try to, like, document each vendor that I buy from and then try to do a follow-up Rattle video because they scammed me, this, that, the other thing. Or try to trace down the line. Oh, well, they didn't do it. They bought it from somebody who must have done it, and I saved all that headache by buying nothing. If my kids were with me, if my wife was with me, I'm sure we would have rated the $1 binders, $2 binders. I'm sure we would have got more stuff for my son's Pokédex binder, but we will do that in the future. There's still plenty of time to do that in the future. So let me go back. I think that's everything. I had some fun at the show. I watched PK close a couple deals. His one Legendary Collection pack that he bought. Let me talk about that while we're still talking business. His one Legendary Collection pack that he bought. So he paid. I won't share exact numbers, but he paid some number, and then he walked around and he felt like that was a good price, and he felt like there was room to make margin on it after paying the Fanatics fees, after all that, and then he found one that was priced at a couple $100 under what he paid on the first one, and I think he talked the first one down a little bit. So we rolled up to the table and we saw the LC pack, and he's like, okay, boom, we're gonna close this, because it was listed for less than he'd already paid for one. So he wanted to get his dollar cost average down on the 2 packs, and within 30 seconds after we got there, 2 other people rolled up. Clearly, they were live streamers, as are we, and they were looking at each other. They were looking at PK. They were looking at the vendor. They were looking at the LC pack, and it was priced at X. PK offered like $100 less than that. The vendor ended up taking it, and I could see the defeat. I could see the soul crushing going on live. Props to them. They didn't like cut in. They didn't try to like kill the deal. I think that's in a moral gray area to try to like cut in on someone else's deal if they're actively engaging in negotiations with the vendor. Presumably, they likely would have paid full sticker. I think if the vendor had said no, PK probably would have paid full sticker as well, given that it was less than he paid on his first pack. But I thought that was an interesting little deal that I saw go down where, yeah, it was just interesting to have witnessed, and it was interesting to share for the video. Other than that, it was a Collecticon. There was a lot of alt arts. There was a lot of megas, a lot of XY, a lot of these crazy things that are doing big numbers lately. A lot of ponchos, a lot of $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 Marios. There were a lot of $1,100, $1,200 PSA 10 Great Belt hats. There were a lot of PSA 10 Gold Stars. Unlike ultra modern alt arts, the pops are a lot lower on the PSA 10 Gold Stars, but the percentage of PSA 10 Gold Stars that exist that are on the floor is pretty wild. Like there's a lot of Mario Pikachus, but say there's, and I should have checked this before I did my live. Say there's 3,000 or 4,000 Mario Full Art Pikachu PSA 10s. There might only be 40 in there. There might only be 1% of the pop in the building. Some of the Gold Stars, where there's like 50 or 60 or 80 PSA 10s, there might be 5 or 8 of the PSA 10s there in the building. It's pretty wild to see like 10% of the pop report of a card that's very, very low pop. Just an interesting little thing I'd share. One last thing I'll share too. I will link Rusty's video above. Rusty's talked about the recap a little bit. He's done a couple of videos. He did one more about the convention and things that he was buying. He posted a public Instagram story as well. He was targeting, I don't have any to show, but he was targeting PSA 10 151, the No Neck Zard, the whatever you want to call it, the 151 Zard SIR from 151. And he was buying them for like $750 to $800 a piece. And he's talked about this publicly. One cool thing that he did, so shout out to him, props on this. His kids are a little bit older. His oldest kids are a little bit older. But he had one of his daughters helping him source a PSA 10 Charizard. He basically told her, I guess I won't cover the whole thing, but go check out his video if you want to see that. He told her, hey, I'm buying these cards. Here's what the card is. Look for this set number. Look for this Charizard. Look for this artwork. PSA 10, I'm paying this. So he said, like, any amount you can get it, like, I know the actual number, but go watch his video so you get the actual number. I don't want to, I don't want to spoil his content, but say the number was 1,000. He's like, hey, say the number's this. Any dollar you pay less than that, I will buy them from you for that number. So it's like, if it was 1,000 hypothetically, and she was able to buy them for $975, boom, she just makes $25. She turns around and she scalps them to dad for a little increased margin. So yeah, I think he said the number that she made throughout the day. A cool thing. My kids are a little young to do that at this point, but that's a fun thing that I will do in the future with my kids. I will say like, hey kids, we're after Great Belt hats, and I'm willing to pay you $1,150, and every one you get for under that, if you get it for 1,000, you make $150 on that one card. Really cool thing. And I don't know if Rusty's doing this. I don't know if he paid her in cold hard cash. I don't know if he paid her in product. However that went, but I know what I would do. I would pay my kids into the Roth IRAs, some percentage of that. Like, hey, maybe they make $500, really hustling, wheeling and dealing the whole convention. $250 into your Roth IRA, $250 cash money to go spend at the convention, to go spend at Chuck E. Cheese, whatever you want to do. I don't know, but I thought that was a fun little thing to share about the show as well, that Rusty did with his family, with his kids. And I'm gonna steal that, Rusty. I don't know if you watch these, but I'm gonna steal that if you hear this. But yeah, that is all the business. We are 14 minutes in. We probably have a lot of minutes to go. So I have a slideshow now, and this is not part of the slideshow, but this is something I wanted to show. I don't think there's any picture, no feet pics in all the pictures, but my daughter, shout out to my daughter. We went shopping to Walmart about a week before the convention, a couple weeks before the convention. Anyways, Brad G always clowns on my shoes. I'm always wearing dad shoes, New Balances, Avias, whatever. $25, $30 Walmart shoes. And they're always the standard white, maybe a little bit of blue dad shoes. So we're in the shoe section at Walmart, and I point out to my daughter, I'm like, I need shoes. And you pick me a couple pairs. This is one that she picked. Not something I'd pick naturally. A lot more colorful, a lot more in your face than I generally pick myself. I've never wore a shoe this bright, this colorful. But it kind of grew on me. They grew on me over the weekend, and I presented them to Brad. I was waiting for Brad to trash on them, And shout out to my daughter for having good taste, I guess, because he couldn't clown on me the way that he did. And if he did, I was going to fully expose him in this video. I was going to say, Brad, calling out my 4-year-old daughter for her fashion taste. But he's like, hey, those aren't too bad. Those are a lot better than what you normally wear. So yeah, that was a fun little thing that I wanted to start the slideshow with. But anyways, let me remove this and let me add this. So we are traveling back in time. I gave you a little bit of a recap of Saturday, the convention. I didn't go Sunday. I flew out Sunday at about 3 p.m. This is me flying in. I fly out of Syracuse, Hancock International Airport. I usually get there 30 minutes before boarding time. I could have gotten there 15 minutes past boarding time. This was TSA. I have TSA pre-check, so I went in the right lane. There was literally nobody there. I had the same water bottle I have right now with the same beverage I had in it. I had some sparkling water with lemon, about this much actually. I figured I'd have a 5-minute line to finish and hydrate before I got on the plane. I was just talking a little bit with the TSA agent at the little line where you dump out your water because you can't bring it through TSA. But I kind of like chugged it and then I dumped out the ice from it. I thought I was gonna have a few minutes. I was just joking with him. I'm like, I thought I was gonna have a few minutes to drink this before I went. I think I flew out. Whatever time I flew out, I need to do that again. It was a Thursday at like 1 maybe. Nobody was there. It was crazy. Like Syracuse is never busy. I've never had to wait more than 10 minutes in TSA pre-check, but this was literally zero. I walked right through, and I was through TSA in 30 seconds. And then I waited for 30 minutes to board and 30 minutes to take off. I actually I forgot about this. I ran into my old high school guidance counselor. So he was actually having a beer. He was flying to Charlotte to connect into a flight into his final destination somewhere in California, go visit one of his daughters. I caught up like I hadn't seen him in 10 years probably. I've been out of high school now for 18 years, which is wild to think. But I saw him years back at some party, some graduation party, whatever it may be. I caught up with him. He asked how I think he knew I was married at the time, but I didn't have kids yet. So he's like, hey, how's the marriage going? And which I guess is a risky question. Had I been divorced or something? But he asked how the marriage was going. I married somebody that was a year ahead of me in school, so he was familiar with her as well. I showed him my kids, and he talked about his kids. And I remember his kids being very, very like 9-10 years old or something. He talked about how a couple of them are nurses, and one of them actually, shout out to the Buckets. One of them works for the S&P, apparently. Standard & Poor's, they work for. The rating system that goes into all the stocks and stuff. But that was a cool, unexpected 30, 45-minute conversation that I had in the airport because I always like board late. I'm boarding group 6. I don't pay for my seat, blah, blah, blah. But then he sat kitty corner to me on the plane too. So we talked a little bit more on the plane. But that was just a funny thing that I almost entirely forgot to mention in the recap. Not that it's pertinent to anything Pokemon, but most of this is just documenting my journey for me, documenting my trips for me. But yeah, that was the airport part of it. This is slide 1 of 35. So buckle in. Some of them will be quicker. So this is, I'm a food guy. I did drop 20 pounds between last Collecticon Charlotte and this Collecticon Charlotte, 20 or 25 pounds. I think I went from 250, 255 to like 225, 230 now. So, or sorry, 230, 235 now. But this is at the public house. This is some kind of a chicken sandwich on like bao buns, chicharrones with blue cheese with hot sauce. Amazing. The next picture, same things, but with Ponga included. Shout out to Ponga. I spoke with him about 10 minutes before I started recording this. I'm gonna read his message exactly as he said it. He said, where was it? He said, talk about me a lot. Make sure to mention me a lot. That's his exact quote. An hour and 6 minutes ago. So Ponga, this is the first mention of many. But yeah, shout out to Ponga. I picked him up at the airport. I landed, he landed 30 minutes after me or something. So I got my rental car and I waited. First time I've rented the car in over a decade probably. Super smooth process. I walked out into the Enterprise lot. They're like, you have an SUV, grab any of them. I thought an SUV was going to be like more roomy for people. It ended up being like a Chevy Blazer or something. And it was no more roomy than a full-size sedan. It was fine. But hindsight, I would have gotten like a larger SUV or just a full-size sedan and saved some money. But yeah, I picked up Ponga. We checked in at the Hilton, the recommended hotel, met up with Java, met up with Nick, and we went on to the public house. We had a decent crew. I'm bad at taking pictures. More frequently, I want to like get people like, please, if you're there with me, and we're all at a big meal, a big table. I will show some group photos later. But like, hand the phone to me. I've got long arms. I'll take a picture of the table. Hand the phone to the hostess, the waitress, the waiter, whoever. More pictures to document more of it. We really need it. I always take a picture of my food, but I like getting a picture of the table as well. But just Ponga for your viewing pleasure here. This is Ponga. It says, classy girls don't kiss at bars. Ponga is not a classy girl, but he did not kiss at the bar either. Well, he didn't kiss me at least. Let's see. This is the public house. This is such a cool hangout spot. I feel like they play some music. It isn't like so many city bars that I've been into. So many city bars that I've been in. They just blow your ears out. I lose my voice the first night after a bar, and my voice was waning by the time we got to Sunday and I flew home. But it was not gone because we weren't shouting at each other from 2 feet away from each other. You can play bocce, you can play darts. Going back to my cover slide, the grouping. I was playing darts and I was hitting tight grouping, high accuracy, low precision. My darts are always close to each other. I'm not missing the board. I'm not hitting the wall like Nick, old school Pokemon, hitting the wall, putting holes in the wall, holes in the ceiling. I'm always hitting the board very close, but often not precise enough to hit the 20, the triple 20, to hit the bullseye, whatever I'm going for in particular. But yeah, fun night. There's Mr. Old School Pokemon. There's probably 2 darts on the wall. There's probably 1 dart that bounced off the chalkboard. He is terrible at playing darts, but the games were closer than they should have been. I don't even remember who won. I played a lot of games of darts. I didn't win as many as I should have. I definitely lost some, definitely won some. But the public house, 60 beers on tap. I was drinking a 9.2%er on Thursday night. I slowed it down. I pushed it back to like a 5%er for Friday night because I was in good shape. Didn't get sick, didn't get hungover, anything like that. But I was in good shape late Thursday night. A little bit too good a shape. This is the kind of pictures that I was taking at 1 a.m. on Thursday night. So this shows you what kind of shape I was in after my 9.2% IPAs. You can't tell, but there are my shoes right there. The Avias that I said there's no pictures of. There was almost a picture of my Avias. I think that's what I was trying to capture. I think I was trying to capture the Avias, the chicharrones, the chips. Great food they had at the public house. You got beer ski. You've got shadowy looking Legend of Luke, I believe. You've got people that I can't identify because I was too shaky. A big crew was out there Thursday night. Shout out to everybody. I can't list everybody because my photograph is not clear enough to identify you. Sorry for that. That was Thursday. Thursday I landed. I checked in. Java, PK, Rattle, many people. We had dinner at the public house. We closed it down till 2 a.m. And then we made it back to our rooms, went to bed. This is the next day at Rusty's. So this is not Rusty's product. As I mentioned, I made a MetaZoo Saturday video a couple days ago. Torrential Tides came out this past weekend. 1 weekend before release was Charlotte Collecticon. So they did like a pre-release thing. They started selling it for full MSRP at the event. Rusty received some of the product on behalf of MetaZoo. Charlie was there for the day, who's obviously deeply involved in MetaZoo. And he just used Rusty as like a landing point, a safe way to ship it in, not have to worry about shipping it to a hotel, whatever, and getting it there. So we did have some product on site on Friday at Rusty's. And I think I have a picture where, so this isn't yet. So in several pictures, there will be a picture of, I bought 2 boxes. I bought 2 boxes at Rusty's, $240 paying full MSRP. Meanwhile, I have several hundred boxes sitting at home going to Skya, but it's like, I had the chance to open it a week before release. So it's like, I'm taking that chance while I've got it. I'll talk about the polls a little bit. I don't think I have a picture of the polls from Rusty's, but I do have those set aside. A lot of those are in my stack to go into my PC binder. None of those are going to be sold. Maybe duplicates I'll send to CGC Fanatics auction. But yeah, so there's all the product they had for the booth at Collecticon, and they've got a bunch of playmats and stuff. This time around, I didn't buy any. I think the playmats were different than Fort Lauderdale. I think they had new ones for Torrential Tides. I'll have to get them at some point. I do like the playmats a lot. I'm not buying them to resell them. I'm just buying them to engage in them and have them for backdrops for my MetaZoo videos and whatever it may be. I'm a big playmat guy for whatever reason. I don't play the game. I don't play Pokemon, but I have stacks of playmats like crazy tall. I just like the artwork, and I like the relative cost of the artwork. It's like a 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch cardboard rectangle inside of a piece of plastic. $10,000. an artwork that's like 18 inches tall and 36 inches wide and can go on your desk and you can see it all day every day while you're in your office. Or these nice big canvases. These canvases are like 50 bucks. A playmat's like 25 bucks, and it's the same or better, bigger art, unobstructed by all the numbers, by all the HP, by all the attacks. So yeah, for whatever reason I buy playmats. Rusty, I've been there. I want to say I did the trophy deal with Rusty. That was the genesis of the whole Charlotte Collecticon meetup at Rusty's, and that was like 4 years ago now. So I think this was my fifth Charlotte Collecticon and fifth visit to Rusty's, fourth or fifth. But anyways, he has like a loft in this building where he keeps stuff, and in the past we've kind of, if you've watched my recap videos in the past, it's a lot of us like cramped up into a loft, and I mean, it was cool how he brought stuff down this time, and I think in future years, I think he's gonna have things set up even more accessible, even easier to see. He's got a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff here. He's got some Metazu stuff on the table. He's got the big energy fire switch cards. He's got a Japanese sheet there. He's got the Entei, like faded, super faded looking sheet. I don't think it's faded actually. I think it's just some kind of a test proofing whatever sheet. But the kinds of things that he laid out as like a little mini museum almost, it was absolutely wild. The next several pictures will show some of those. You got the e-reader box toppers down there on the bottom right, I believe. Maybe you can pause, maybe you can zoom in on some of these. More Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. He's got an uncut roll of Fossil Booster Pack wrappers. He's got some sheets there, the Aerodactyl. He's got the jungle sheet right there that you see, the large Doduo. He's got a binder of something or other there. I can't remember exactly what was in the binder, but I'll go through these relatively quickly. He's got the Turmoil. He's got the Lava and the Turmoil. Like the I believe they had different names on them. I believe these were like Legendary Collection theme deck, proofs, templates, test, whatever, mock-ups, whatever you want to call them. I believe there's like proper terminology for those things. Sorry, Rusty. Sorry, anybody, if I'm using the wrong terminology. Ancient Muse sheet. He's got the double-sided weird hollow rocket sheet that was cut off center cuts of like 4 cards on each side that they did as like some ornament for a Christmas tree back at a WotC Christmas party 25 years ago or whatever. Really cool history, really cool lore type stuff in here. And I've seen it, most of these things I've seen in the prior years, just the way that he kind of like laid them out and presented them was really cool. You've got some more uncut sheets there. You've got, this was wild. This was like in his little vault kind of deal. Pre-release Raichu, you probably can't make it out there next to the uncut base foil wrapper. You've got an Alpha Pack. You've got an Alpha Lotus. You've got PSA 10 base first edition Charizard. You've got like every variant you could ever wish for of base set Unlimited. You've got blisters of base set first edition. You've got Shadowless theme decks. You've got sealed Southern Islands binder with all the promos and stuff. You do have the Toe of My Avia making another appearance right there. So yeah, Brad G in shambles over me wearing slightly fashionable shoes that my 4-year-old daughter picked out that cost me, I believe, $25.95 at Walmart. There, same angle of the same room. Rusty's organization, every time I go to Rusty's, the organization is like, I at this point, PK Ponga have so much of my stuff. I don't even have a whole lot of inventory like on site anymore. I have the pallets off site at one of my dad's locations. I have a lot of stuff with PK and Ponga for the streams. I keep some that I restock them with and whatever. But like I have so much less and it's so much more messy. Every time I go to Rusty, it's like goals for organization. And I never go and I fix it. I need to do that at some point. I promise I will. But if ever there's a Syracuse Collecticon, I don't have the space that Rusty does. I don't have the setup that Rusty does. I don't have the museum that Rusty does. There would not be much to see. It's like, hey, there's some shelves of loose packs. There's some shelves of sealed Sword Shield and Scarlet Violet cases. There's not a whole lot to see, honestly. But I have decent space to entertain. Nowhere near what Rusty has, but like decent space for entertaining. But there would be nothing to see. It would be like, hey guys, that's the chair that I sit in, and that's the stuff behind me, and there's my RuneScape stuff, and there's my there's my Pokeballs, and there's my Stein stuff. There's not a whole lot to see. But Rusty's got a lot to see. So yeah, if and whenever there's an event close enough to me that I invite people over, I probably can't do the amount of people he has. You'll see the group photo coming up soon. But I won't have nearly this stuff to show either. But I would get my act together if I knew, like, if we get the Collecticon schedule and somehow, some way, I'm not holding my breath, But if they add a Syracuse, New York location, I will have to get my act together. I will have to clean up everything, and I will have to make my house presentable, my office presentable, to show people something. I'll have more steins and stuff to show than cards at this point, but I'll make something work. But yeah, Rusty is a GOAT of the hobby. He is the GOAT of the hobby. He is a legend, and this is all his legendary stuff. Like, you go through some of these things, and some of these shoeboxes of cards, it's like 100, the Mew promo from the 151 UPC. Then some of them are randomly like PSA 10 WotC first edition holos. And then some of them are like PSA 10 Moonbryons. And it's wild, the variety of cards that you find in these shoeboxes. It's absolutely bonkers. It's insane. Here's just another angle of a similar thing that I showed already. So here's at Rusty's house. Here is you can only see one in frame, but the other one's a little bit out of frame. Some people were playing MetaZoo. I think like Zach and Charlie, and there was a handful of people playing MetaZoo. I don't have pictures of it. Basketball games did happen. Early on into playing the first basketball game, I kind of like made a stop on my right ankle, and my ankle was yelling at me already. And it's like, I'm 35 years old. I don't want to get injured. I don't want to get hurt. I played very half-assed. Sorry to everyone that was on my team. I think my team, maybe we lost both games. I scored some. I wasn't like getting down in the post and trying to, and I've had this conversation before. I'm tall. I'm 6'4" 3/4. I was not that when I played basketball. I played basketball from biddy basketball in 3rd grade all the way through intramural in high school, intramural in college. I played for over a decade of basketball. But the only times I've shot a basketball in the past 5 years are once a year at Rusty's. I don't train my shot. I was never down low. I was never a big man. I was always a shooting guard, point guard. My shot has entirely evaporated. It's gone away. But one big goal that I made in my Charlotte ClarkCon recap last year was dunking at Rusty's. I dunked a basketball on a 9'6" rim. I should have grabbed a tennis ball or something, or a golf ball, and dunked that on a 10-foot rim. Then I could have said, ha, I dunked on a 10-foot rim. I didn't say it was going to be a regulation basketball, but I wasn't even smart enough to do that. So I dunked on a 9'6" rim. I lost 25 pounds. I did 2 workout programs. I did Air Alert, and then I did another program I made with like ChatGPT. But I trained the amount of calf raises, the amount of leap ups, the amount of step ups I did on my box, the thousands of jumps that I did in the past year, the 25 pounds that I lost, my vertical went up 1/2 inch tops. I'm gonna try. I'm recording this at 2:35 probably. I think I was 2:30 going to Rusty's. I had a great time. I had IPAs. I had a lot of food. I gained 5 pounds that weekend for sure. So I'm gonna work to get back. I want to be 220, if not 215 at Rusty's. I would love to be dunking, but I just this guy can't jump. I think they made a movie about that. I should have starred in that movie. I cannot jump whatsoever. It is what it is. It's more of a vanity metric being able to dunk, but I'll try at Rusty's. I had fun playing basketball. I scored a few baskets. I did not do well. I made some banks that were not intended to be banks, but it was a good time. Rusty has a beautiful pool that last year, it was 90-something degrees when we were playing basketball, and I played a little bit harder then. We played full court then. We only played half court this time, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, a couple different games, but very, very pitiful performance by the tallest man at the court, but still had a good time. We didn't end up even going into the pool. Huge, beautiful pool. I don't know if I have a photo of it, but check out Rusty's recent video. I'll try to remember to link that above. He has an 8-foot Snorlax. He has a Lapras that's being commissioned by some artist that he gives the information for the artist in his video. His house is such a cool setup. I don't want to show off his whole house, but like PK talked about a little bit in his live too. He's got like a new building he built, and he paved a bunch of his driveway and such cool things. PK mentioned this too. It's cool to see a snapshot of like Rusty's life, Rusty's family, Rusty's home every year for the past 4 or 5 years. And next year, bigger than my goal for dunking. My big goal for next year, I want to have my entire family there. I've told my wife my big goal for 2026 travel-wise, I want to check off, we have a lifelong goal, my wife and I, to check off all 50 states that we travel to together. If I go to North Carolina alone, it doesn't count. We have to go to that together. It can't be 2 hours in an airport. We have to stay overnight on a meaningful trip to every state, all 50 states. And I told her, I really want to check off Charlotte next year. And you'll see Wonder had his family there. Legend of Luke had his family there. Uh, uh, Hive Mind had his family there. I started listing people, and now I need to list everybody. But there were people. I'll show them in the group photos. There were people with their families there. Charlie had his family there. I want to have my whole family there next year. You never know who's gonna get married. If I have a close friend that has a wedding that weekend, it's gonna be tough. But like, I'm going to do everything I can do to get my family there for an extended stay, including Rusty's house, including Wonder's house. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. That is my biggest goal by far in the hobby next year, is to get the whole family there. Seeing my kids running around going nuts on Rusty's trampolines, and my wife might be a little nervous about it all, but she'll be able to get through it. Having them swimming in the pool and going down the slide and looking at the big Snorlax statue and going on his he has the same play set that I do, the same playground for the kids, swing set. But yeah, great time. So this, okay, we're about to all that light, all that like good stuff. We're about to pivot into something fairly dark. Talking about all the and shout out to the whole. If you don't follow them, so Rusty has Instagram. Obviously, I think he has TCA and he has official. I think he has 2 Instagrams for his business. But Pokey Family, but it's POAKE Family. They have an Instagram for their family. Rusty's family's faces and names and all that's out there. But shout out to Anna for always being such a gracious host. They put together like sandwiches for lunch. They put together like a little taco bar thing for dinner, and all the drinks and all the everything. Like, props to them for always doing this. I say it all the time, but like, the best things about this business, the best things about this space, the best thing about the conventions is always the people. And Rusty is a goat in collection, in business acumen, in inventory, in family, in support, like all that stuff. Rusty and his family, and they just crush at everything. So yeah, big props to them. After Rusty's, I want to say we left at like 8 or 9, and it's a little over an hour. I rented a car. It's a little over an hour from Rusty's to the convention center, and to the Hilton, and to the public house where we went for our extracurriculars. So I don't have any other photos than this one apparently, but we went We were at the public house Thursday from 5 p.m. We had dinner. We closed the bar down at 2 a.m. We got to the public house at like 9:30, and I'll shout out the crew. I think I had the crew listed in the update thing. But so not everyone that went Thursday, and I don't have an exhaustive list for Thursday who went. But shout out to Ryan, Pure TCG. Shout out to Java, myself, Ponga, Spat, Chef, Steve. Shout out to Steve. I'm recording this the night of earlier today. I was live on Alex's channel, Nostalgianomics, with Steve. Tactical Trading, he goes by on Instagram and eBay. But big shout out to him. He drove up from Georgia. Got to meet him, got to hang out with him. And we met up with him at like 10 at the public house. 10 or 10:30 at the public house. Grimer was also there. Old School was also there. We went to bed at 5:30 a.m. Public house closed at 2. So we were at public house from 10:30 till 2. I toned it down from 9.2% beers to about 4.5, 4.8% beers. And at 1:55, I think Java, shout out to him, he stayed out way past his bedtime. He stayed out till maybe midnight. Most people were there till closing, though. Most people were there till the end, just about. At like 1:55, Ryan, Pure TCG, decides to leave. He leaves a few minutes before they close. It was last call. You couldn't get another beer, so he just heads out. 5 minutes later, when the waiter and stuff, when the hostess and the bartender and all them, they're like, hey guys, it's 2 o'clock, shoo, get out of here. There's all these lights. There's like a police car light, and there's a fire truck, and there's an ambulance. Ryan comes in, and he's like, someone got stabbed. Nobody that we knew. Crazy though. It's like 2 a.m., feeling pretty good, and it's like, you just get whacked with like real life. It's like, holy crap, someone outside got stabbed. No idea. I think some people they heard a little bit what the police were saying. They heard a little bit what some people were saying. I think everyone likely is fine. There was a little bit of blood. I'm not going to show any of that, but like, we literally exited the bar into a crime scene. The only photo I'm going to show is the one of this. This was at like 2:05 a.m. on Friday night, technically Saturday at that point. But That was wild. I did not have that on my bingo card. I did not expect that. I hope I never experience that again. Thankfully, it was no one that we knew, but obviously that's still not good for it to happen to anyone. But I believe they were likely brought there, stable condition, all that stuff, and the individual responsible, cameras everywhere, I'm sure, at the bar. I hope they are brought to justice. Please, yeah. Hopefully we don't have that again in the future. That was just a wild thing that I feel like I could not address. And then this, some of the shenanigans that went on. So we walked out of the bar through an active crime scene. The police were like, hey, did anyone see anything? And we're like, no, we didn't. I think they had enough eyewitnesses. I think they had the cameras. I think they were set. So we just went on our way. We get back to the hotel at like 2:30 or something. And we did have some all day IPAs or something I had bought prior. So we had some beers in the backpack. We hung around the lobby. We found this little cove in the corner. It was under a stairwell. These guys, we dragged a table under. We dragged some chairs under. The clearance on this place, it was like 3.5 or 4 feet or something. I don't remember how low it was. I'm very tall. Maybe it was 4 or 4.5 feet. You could not stand under here. None of us could stand under here. So we thought it was funny. A bunch of drunk goofballs pulling a table under there. And then we'll get to it. Across the way, so that was to my right from where I'm taking this photo. Across the way, there were very comically tall chairs. And you can see right here, somehow or another, Spat was saying that he thought these comically tall chairs would fit under here. Once you got past this little lip on the molding, it rose up like 4 or 6 inches. Spat's like, if you tip it, if you bring it under there, it will stand up straight. And I'm like, there is no shot. There is no shot that is happening. So naturally, we're not going to just like we're going to find out. Is it going to fit? Is it not going to fit? That's Spat carrying a comically large chair across the hotel lobby. It was 2:30, 3 a.m. No one was around. There was nobody at the desk. It's like goofballs doing a goofball thing. It did not fit. So Spat was wrong. It did not fit. It was hilarious. It was probably, in hindsight, it doesn't sound as funny as it was in the context of a bunch of guys hanging out at 3 a.m, having had some beers, having had some beverages. The timing of it too was funny because it didn't fit. I'm like, hey, step out of there. I got to take a picture. This is hilarious. He put it back. Not 30 seconds later did the desk clerk come back. And I don't know what they would have said. They would have been like, please guys, go to bed. You guys are drunk. Get away from me. Please put the chair back. The timing worked out to where we weren't even confronted. That awkward interaction didn't even happen. But from here, we went up to, shout out to Spat and Grimer. We went up to their room. Me, Spat, Grimer, Ponga, Steve. We talked till 5:30 in the morning. We talked about what the day had gone like. We talked about life. We talked about Pokemon. We talked about a little bit of everything. And great times. Just great times with great people are what the moral of the story is in all these recaps. Great times with great people. Silly photos to remember things by. Let me double check my document to make sure there's nothing else to add. As always, the public house, I got more chicharrones. I had some good beers. Yeah, great times with great people. Now we're going to go to the convention. I think this is the only photo I took. It's hard to make out here. I think this is the only photo I took at the convention. But I shot this to Greenie. I saw Chef. Chef also tagged Greenie in this on Instagram, I believe. But separately, independently, we both took pictures of this. They had Diglett ring toss. I don't know what you could win. You paid a certain amount for a certain amount of rings. You threw them at the Diglets. The amount of points that you scored, presumably you'd get packs or you'd get some product or whatever. I thought it was hilarious. I sent it to Josh. The Greenches did not make it to the convention, but he was there in spirit at the Diglett ring toss. So yeah, that was funny. That was cool. I went to the convention for like an hour. Then I stepped out and I went and I got ramen. I believe ramen on Saturday was me, Ponga, Ray, Larry, the man of many names. He goes by many different names. And then Benji. So we got some ramen at a place not too far from there. I think I tried sourcing for like 45 minutes or an hour. Then we went and got ramen, which hit nice after the lack of sleep, after the excess of beverages. And then Friday night wasn't actually that bad. I was pretty toned down compared to Thursday night because the percentages were halved and the quantity were halved, or probably halved, because I didn't drink it all at Rusty's. I drank from 10 till 5 instead of from 5 till 2 in the morning. So a little bit less hours there at half the ABV. But yeah, then we went back to the convention. What's my next photo? Oh, so this is past the convention. Shout out to Pokemon Wonder for being a gracious host. Shout out to Pokemon Wonder's wife for being a gracious host as well, as Rusty and Anna were, Justin and ladies were as well. Very, very great time at there. And this card, the rare 1-of-1 glitter bordered googly-eyed Flareon. This was courtesy of Hivemind. I met him. I've met him before. I saw him again. I met his wife. I met his daughter as well. And she blessed everyone at the get-together at Justin's house with cards that she made. Some of them she took her children's scissors with rounded edges and jagged edges, and she cut around some. She drew illustrations on some. She googly-eyed some. But I got a 1-of-1 Flareon glitter border with the googly eyes. So that card is going deep into the PC. Obviously never for sale. Please don't fill my comments with offers on this card, because I know you want to. It is not for sale. And then Chef, shout out to Chef, shout out to, again, Wonder's wife. They did like different kinds of pasta. They had some fancy dressings for the salad. They had some tasty bread. They had some filet. They had all kinds of tasty stuff. Chicken. Like great food. Nothing more to say than the food. It was great as expected, as always. Continuing from there, there's another angle of the same food. And then, so I did Quaxley, all the children. I feel weird about putting other people's children out there. I know Rusty has some content out there with all his kids, but not everyone here has their kids and all the content. Let me, I'm going to pull this up on my own here, and I'm going to try to zoom in. I'm not going to zoom in on the photo for everyone here, but I'm going to try to make out everybody. So over on the left side, starting at the left side, you got Mr. Brad G, you got Royalty Gaming, you got Legend of Luke and his family, you got Java, you got Charlie and his wife, you got his Quaxley on his piggyback ride there. You got Ray, you got BB, you got Chef, you got Benji, Grimer, Bierski, Ponga, Jake and his wife, Sarah. You got Larry over Jake's shoulder. You got Mason, you got Vandy in the back there. You got PK, you got John Hivemind and his wife and daughter. And then you've got Rusty, Anna, Justin and his wife. And then on the right, so over, I don't think you can see my cursor now, all the way to the right, you have Mr. Old School Pokemon right up here. He was not in this photo. That is Photoshop. We did this big thing. Justin forewarned people. He's like, hey, 10, 15 minutes. We are going to do a group photo. Like, finish what you're doing. Be ready. Mr. Old School Pokemon Nick goes inside to go to the bathroom. He's got to be the guy. Everyone was there. Everyone was ready. And he was not present. But great Photoshop job. I believe Wonder did that Photoshop job. He got Nick in there, even though he was not a part of it. I think last year, the same thing happened with Radar, with John. Unfortunately, Radar didn't make this one. He had something else going on. But Radar had to be Photoshopped into some group photos as well in the past. At the dinner that we had, we went out for dinner last year on one of the nights to a steakhouse. So he missed that group photo. It happens with this many people, but tons of great people, a great time, as always, just a blast. Here's an additional one that is Nightmare Fuel. If you look closely, there are probably no less than 15 Nicks in this photo, and then just a final one for good measure. Mr. Old School Pokemon, you can see he's not actually over there by Wonder and his wife. He is he's photoshopped in floating in this one. But yeah, you have way too many Nicks here. You have floating Nick here. A lot of people doing silly faces. I'm not a big fan of the silly face myself, so I'm just doing the same face that I always do. This one, now we just teleported from Wonder's house. Same night, Saturday night, we teleported to the Airbnb that the Cardinal crew. Shout out to the Cardinal crew, Jake and them. They had an Airbnb at a place within 5-10 minute drive from the convention center, I want to say. So we left Wonders and we went to here. They had like arcade games inside the Airbnb. Out back, this was around a fire pit. PK talked about on his live stream, how he almost burned his face off lighting the fire. But yeah, little fireplace, hot tub, beers, cornhole. Cam and Alexis were there. Shout out to them. I got to play some cornhole. Me and Vandy barely beat Cam and Alexis in a nail biter. We beat them 21-20. I don't have a photo. I don't have any evidence of this, but Cam, Alexis, and Vandy are witnesses to. I had a bag laying on the hole, but like not in. I called my shot with my final bag. It didn't like win the game or anything, but it put us up higher. I made a bag into the hole and simultaneously hit the one that was hanging on the edge down into the hole. I called the shot. It was crazy. You had to be there. But I have 3 eyewitnesses that saw it. It was fun. It was pretty wild. It was a good time. But yeah, there was I can't name everybody. The Cardinal crew. You had BB Bierski. You had Mason Cardinal Gaming. You had Jake. You had lots of people here. Again, I wish there was like a group photo done at this place. I'm not good about doing it. Thrifty was here. I don't know if I mentioned her, but I'll mention her again. A lot of great people here. Great time. Mr. Spat. I said I'd tease it. I said I'd spoil it. You've got the tip of the Avia making another appearance. I guess I had more photos of that than I thought I did. But Mr. Spat, the upcoming eBay Live Catch 'em All collectible streamer, he couldn't quite hang as late in the night as everyone else did. This was shortly before we left. I want to say we started. People started leaving around 12:30 or 1. I planned on staying a long time. I would have stayed here till 4 or 5 in the morning. But by like 1:30, 1:45, PK and I looked at each other. We're like, everyone is going to bed who's staying here. We should probably leave. I think we caught the last ride out. We caught the last train leaving the station. And I don't think I have pictures of it. Yeah, I don't. But we ended up going back to the hotel lobby. I took a couple all-day IPAs with me. I had a couple backpack beers. Shout out to Skyrush Gaming. Me and PK hung out in the lobby. We talked with Skyrush. We talked with a couple other people. We let the night continue. Another beer or two. We went to bed maybe 3 o'clock that night, but great time. The next morning, I did not go to the convention. I almost went with Cam and Alexis. They said they were going to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Growing up, my childhood, I was like a NASCAR kid. It was the only sport my parents raised me into. I was not a fan of the Jets, the Rangers, the Mets. I picked all those fandoms myself in my adolescence, in my adulthood. But I was a Jeff Gordon fan. I was born into Jeff Gordon fandom, and I will go to the NASCAR Hall of Fame at some point in the future. Maybe next year, if my whole family goes. Maybe we'll do a week. Maybe like we'll probably try to do like Friday will be Rusty's, Saturday will be Wonders, hopefully, assuming it all goes the same. Maybe we'll go there Monday, and Monday we'll do the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll do things for like whatever my wife picks, whatever my kids pick. We'll do zoos, we'll do arcades, we'll do whatever Charlotte has to offer for family outings. But yeah, this Red Eye Diner, in a prior recap, met up with Rusty there at one point in a prior year. Got milkshakes. This time around, we actually got food. I got a meat lovers omelet. That's not enough meat for me. I needed bacon as well. I got some hash browns. I got some toast. It was a good breakfast. The breakfast was Brad, Nick, Vandy, Ponga, and myself. And from there, I actually rode to the airport with Vandy, Ponga, and Nick, who were all flying on the same flight. And their flight was 2 gates away from mine. So it worked out well. I think the final photo is, these were called burnt ends. This was like a $30 plate, which was way too much money, but like I wanted to try their burnt ends. Somehow, they claimed to be brisket burnt ends. They tasted fine. Like, it's airport barbecue. I didn't have high expectations. They tasted like ribs somehow. Somehow the brisket burnt ends tasted like barbecue ribs. They were not fantastic. They were fine. They were edible. I wanted something in my belly before I flew home. But I had a beer with Vandy, Ponga, Nick, and myself. So that was a nice little send-off for the trip. I'm going to pause quickly. I realized I didn't show the group photo from Rusty's. I'm going to get that quick, and we're going to end within an hour. Here we are. So it is out of sequence, but this was Friday. We have all the kids Quaxlead, I believe. Working left to right, you've got Charlie's family, you've got Jason, you've got Cam and Alexis, you've got myself, Dylan and his wife, you've got Bierski, BB, Larry, Ray, Ponga, Java, Nick, Zach, Mason, Jake and his wife, Sarah, Chef. You've got Gary, King Pokemon. You've got PK. You've got Medikai. You've got Rattle. You've got Luke and his family. You've got Royalty Gaming. You've got Justin and his family. And you've got Rusty and Anna. Again, just like these group photos. I don't know how I missed it, because like this is everything. This was the event. These are the people that made the event, that make this hobby what it is. We are so fortunate to have such great people in the hobby. These are the best memories that I'm making, and I can't wait. Next year's recap, I want my 2 Quaxleys there too. I believe PK might be bringing his Quaxleys there. We'll see, but I hope every year it grows a little bit more. I worry a little bit for Rusty's food budget for the events. I worry a little bit for the space. We're gonna have to be taking the photos from a lot further away to get everyone in there. But yeah, that's everything I had. Let me double check my YouTube notes. I don't think I missed anything else. Any questions, any comments, leave them in the chat. Leave them in the comments as always. But yeah, that was Charlotte Collecticon in just under an hour. The classic Catch 'em all collectibles style. Oh yeah, this is one thing. I had it in my notes to find my old Now That's What I Call Music CDs. Shout out to Steve, shout out to Ponga, shout out to the people I had this conversation with. Somehow we were reminiscing of nostalgic 90s things. And I was recalling my old Now That's What I Call Music CDs. I believe they're on like Now That's What I Call Music. The current iteration is, so Now That's What I Call Music discography. I think they've made, yeah, so they're on number 121. Just came out a month ago, just under a month ago. Somehow we got to talking, and it's like I had, between me and my sister, I had like 1 through 9. I didn't have all of them, but together we had all of them. I couldn't find my copies. I have them somewhere. Maybe my sister has them. This was my wife's. I was going through some of our totes in the basement, and I came across this random little thing that I just wanted to pop in there. One of the late night public house conversations that we got reminiscing. Again, we talk business, we talk non-business, we talk all things life, and somehow that bit of nostalgia popped in. And so let me know in the comments, what Now That's What I Call Music was your first? What was your last? Did you know they were still a thing? Now that you know that they're a thing, are you going to go out and buy Now That's What I Call Music number 121 that just came out on July 25th, 2025? I think that is the very weird place where we will end it. Oh yeah, one last thing. Last thing. Saturday night, if you saw it on my outline, I had it said Dumberly. Wild name. We ordered late night at the hotel room at 3 a.m. Shout out to Ponga. He bought some Domino's pizza. That hit so nice at 3 a.m. after many beers. At the Airbnb, somebody bought Domino's again. I believe it was Spat. Shout out to Spat for that. Thank you for the food. And that hit great too. But we ordered Domino's on Saturday night at the Airbnb. We were at the public house Friday. Many people were at the Airbnb. They ordered Domino's, and apparently it took like 3 hours to come. And the name of the deliverer was Dumberly. I don't know if that's a real legal name. No hate, no shade on that name if it is. I just thought that was worthwhile to point out. It was kind of it just hit me like Dumberly was the name of their delivery driver that took 3 hours to get their food to them. That some people might have caught that on the outline overview thing in the recap video. But yeah, what a way to end. Talking about Dumberly, talking about Now That's What I Call Music. With that, I appreciate you all watching as always. I intend to be at Card Party Seattle. That is my intended next event. That is my intended final event for the year. Hope to see you there if you go. Let me know if you're going to go to that in the comments as well. I appreciate you all watching. I will catch you all later.